Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today, I have a couple of relationship stories for you, both with updates. Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who went on and bought one of my Carmen Chameleon figures. We sold out pretty much all of the red, green, and blue ones. I have 2 left. I've added 2 new colors to the store. One is a pastel rainbow and looks really cute. The other is a black, green, and gold, and it just looks amazing. Check them out on my website if you haven't already. It's CanadianRob.com. On to today's stories, let's jump right in. This story comes to us from ThrowRA456723. I threw a low blow at my wife, and now she's barely talking to me. Please help. My 29 male wife, Allie, 27 female, and I have been together for 6 years and married for 3. We met in college, and at first, my mom, who was always a stay-at-home mom, was worried that my wife wouldn't make a good housewife. However, as the years went on, she saw how my Allie and I made a beautiful partnership. She saw how we supported each other through college and grad school, job hunting, financial issues, health problems, and more. She saw how I would pick up the slack when Allie was busy, and how Allie did the same for me. We also split our chores at home. My mom now absolutely adores her. Since I only have brothers and I'm the only married one, she thinks of her as the daughter she never had. Now on to the issue. This past Monday, I was just having a terrible day. Those where everything goes wrong. I got a flat tire on my way to work, was late to work. My boss yelled at me. I dropped my lunch and left my wallet at home. It was just an awful day. I got home and was starving. Allie was cooking dinner. She seemed to have been anxious because when she is, she starts talking a lot and really fast, which I normally find sweet and endearing, but not that day. So she starts going on and on about her day. I just wanted her to get done with dinner. So out of nowhere, I just yelled, "Do you ever just shut up? Boy, was mom ever right." She asks, right about what? Instead of keeping my mouth shut, I tell her about my mom's concerns about her not making a good housewife. Her eyes welled up with tears and she stopped talking, finished cooking dinner and went straight to the shower and then bed. Now she wakes up before me and leaves breakfast and lunch ready, comes home and leaves dinner ready, and goes straight to shower and bed. She doesn't want to talk or watch TV or anything. If I ask or say anything, she gives me 1 or 2 word responses. She doesn't even look angry at me, just defeated. I don't know how to fix this. I feel like flowers and chocolates won't cut it here. Plus, I don't even know why I said that, because my mom doesn't even have those concerns anymore. Please help. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Delicious Archer 273. It says, "Frankly, I'm shocked she leaves you breakfast and lunch. I'd let you starve." Another user called Sword of the Morning said, "Yeah, I don't know how you're going to recover from that. What you said was extremely hurtful, and not only have you ruined the perception she has of you, but also the perception she has of your mother. I mean, think about it. Allie, from the sounds of it, sounds like a great partner. Like, goes above and beyond what most people do. So for her to hear out of the blue that she's not a good housewife is heartbreaking. And you're a pretty big douchebag for snapping at her the way you did from something so small. OP, I have no idea how you recover from this one. That was a pretty big dick move that you did there. This woman makes you breakfast and lunch and has them ready for you before you go to work. She makes dinner for you and has it ready for you when you get home. And you have the gall to say something like she's not a good housewife? What the actual F, man? I'm not really seeing how this one could get any better, but OP did put an update, so let's read that now. Alright, OP's update is titled, "Update, I threw a low blow at my wife, and now she's barely talking to me. Please help." I first want to clarify and answer some questions from the first post. Pregnancy. Allie is not pregnant. Before getting married, we decided to wait until our careers were established for 2 years before we started trying for a baby. That would be next year. We are both very careful. Plus, I asked and she said she wasn't. Her doing all the chores, she does not do all the chores. Before we moved in together, we made a list of all the chores that needed to be done. Then we flipped a coin and chose the chore we wanted. Then we alternated on choosing the rest of them. She chose the first one, which was cooking. She cooks and I clean the kitchen. She grocery shops and I put the groceries away, and so on. So even with the fight, she kept doing her chores, and I kept doing mine, although I would fully understand if she stopped doing them altogether. Me apologizing. I did try to apologize multiple times, but she said she didn't want to hear it. I just wanted to give her space, but should have tried harder. I read every single comment and private message. It was hard, but I asked for advice. I 1000% got what I deserved. Now, on to what I've done to begin fixing this mess I've made. As some of you suggested, I wrote a heartfelt letter explaining myself and sincerely apologizing and begging her to speak to me whenever she felt comfortable. She said she would go to the guest room, and I said no, that I would go there because this fight was entirely my fault and would only return if and when she allowed me and felt comfortable. I called my mom and let her know what I did. She rightfully tore me a new one, then came by the next day with some gifts for Allie. She apologized for ever feeling that way and assured her that she didn't feel that way now, that she truly loves her like a daughter. They spoke more, but I wasn't privy to that conversation. As some of you suggested, I made an appointment with a counselor so I can learn how to properly deal with my anger and not lash out at innocent people. On Reddit suggestion as well, I printed out a list of marriage counselors in the area who accept our health insurance. I gave her the list and said that if she's willing to go with me, all she has to do is choose a name and I'll do all the legwork. She said she's willing to go and she chose a name. She works in the mental health field and chose someone who is reputable in our area. She already sees her own therapist and is working through this with her, I assume. I was able to talk to her and she said she was really hurt by what I said, that she was questioning what my family, especially my mom, and what I thought of her as a wife and a person. Like, all the memories with my family are tainted now. Were they pretending? Was it just my mom? What are they saying behind her back during special occasions? If we have kids, will they think she's a bad mom too? When my mom helps her with something, is it to be nice or because she thinks she's not capable? That she was angry. I didn't trust her with those concerns earlier in the relationship, so she could either address them with my mom or even see what I thought as well, because she might have made a different choice about marrying into a family that had doubts about her. She also said that she was already anxious about a hard day at work. She works in the mental health field, which can be stressful, and I yelled out of nowhere. She told me that if I had just communicated to her that I had a bad day and was hungry, she would have just made me a snack and told me to chill while dinner was ready. But instead, I just lashed out. Or if I had texted her earlier, she would have ordered me lunch or given me her card number so I could order something for myself. Also said it was about teaching me a lesson about what a quiet housewife looks like, and that it's obviously not something I want, and that if it is, she's obviously not someone I'm going to get it from. So to make a choice about what I want, I told her I just want to be with her. I don't want a housewife. I want her as my partner for the rest of our lives. I just felt like a complete ass because I just had to communicate and she would have been there for me. I had no right to hurt her. She was a partner and I was a dick. As you guys also suggested, I have been taking over her chores as well as I can because my cooking is definitely not as good as hers, and spoiling her with her favorite things and foods. I'm spoiling her even more than she spoils me, since she loves giving little just because thinking of you gifts and doing sweet things to make my life easier. I've also been doing things like drawing baths, serving her favorite juice she doesn't drink at all, lighting candles, and playing her favorite crime podcast so she can relax when she comes home from work. She even asked me to join her on the last bath. She said she was glad we were working on things. No promises, but we'll keep working together and see what happens. I obviously effed up here. I'm still trying to fix it, and I'm hopeful. It's not all unicorns and rainbows, but I'm going to do whatever it takes to repair and rebuild what I ruined. If it ends up not working, then I'll know it's because I was a big ass who didn't properly communicate and didn't keep his mouth shut. Any other questions I'll try to answer. I just got overwhelmed last time, and before I knew it, comments were locked. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Huntress145. It says, "Good for you for acknowledging that you effed up and are willing to put in the work to try and fix it. You also need to have a conversation with your mother and tell her that if you have children, it is none of her darn business how you and your wife chose to raise them. Whether either of you choose to be a stay-at-home parent or continue working is between you and your wife. She gets no say, and you need to make it clear to her that you won't tolerate her spewing 1950s sexist bullcrap anymore. It's called boundaries, and you need to put some in place if you want things to work with your wife. Because I will tell you now, this is what your wife is going to be thinking about when it comes to having children with you. Are you going to back her and how she wants to raise her own children? Or are you going to side with your mommy? You are married. Your place is with your wife, not pleasing your mother at the expense of your wife and the family you choose to create. Best of luck to you." OP, this one is going to take a lot of work to come back from, and it sounds like you're making strides in the right direction. But I completely don't blame Allie if she never thinks of you the same again, because that comment was absolutely brutal. This story comes to us from Late Satisfaction 228. "Am I the butthole for refusing to help my stepdaughter with her baby? I, female 38, married my husband Sam, male 47, 5 years ago. Sam always knew I did not want to have children of my own. He was fine with it. He has a daughter, Leah, female 25. His wife died when Leah was 10 years old, and I met him when she was 15. I didn't meet her till after a year of dating. She was a sweet young adult, and we got along great. I did not move in with Sam till Leah left for college though. Leah got pregnant last year. Her boyfriend did not want to keep the baby, but she wanted to keep it. He broke up with her. Leah moved back in with us cause she could not afford her lifestyle without him. She worked as a teacher, and he was the breadwinner. I had concerns about how she was going to raise a child on a teacher's salary by herself. I suggested getting him to pay child support. She did not want that. Sam thought I should stay out of it. Fine. But once she had the baby around 4 months back, Leah seemed to realize having a baby is not the sunshine and rainbows she thought it was. She barely got any sleep during the last 4 months. All the while, Sam was helping her with the baby while I did almost all chores myself. Now, her leave is ending. She did not want to leave baby at daycare or with a nanny. Sam and I both work as well. She asked if I could stay home with the baby. I said no. First, it's not my baby, and I never wanted to raise a child. Second, I have work. She asked Sam, who asked me to do it instead. I refused, stating the reasons again. Sam couldn't stay home because he earned more than me and covered more bills. I asked why Leah can't stay home with the baby herself. She said how she was young and had to build a career. I said many people take breaks to raise kids, and she broke down crying about how she was so tired all the time being a mom, and she needed someone else in her life too. Sam feels bad for her and thinks we should help her. I suggested she pay for a nanny with her income, but Leah doesn't want strangers looking after her baby. Both of them are pressuring me to stay home with baby so she can go to work. I am standing firm on my decision. Leah said yesterday how she wished her mom was alive since she would have had her back. She said I didn't love her, and my husband is also mad at me. Am I the butthole for refusing to help my stepdaughter with her baby? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called DifficultSafe9155. It says, "Not the butthole. She didn't ask you to help. She asked you to pretty much give up your career and raise your step-grandchild. Help would have been if she said, can you see about maybe watching the baby when my school has evening staff meetings? Or, can you and dad maybe work out your schedules so the baby spends as little time in daycare, like doing a late start for work and dropping her off on the way to work, and I can pick her up after school? Many daycare centers give discounts to teachers because they know how hard they work and little they get paid. Also, once she knew she was going to keep the baby, that was when she should have started asking her coworkers and friends for childcare recommendations. I wouldn't say that to her now, as I'm sure she knows it. Explain to her that you are not refusing to help with your granddaughter, but that you need to focus on your career as well, and that you will help her come up with a plan. She needs to find reliable childcare for when she's teaching during the day, and I am sure someone at the school can help her. She needs to get child support from her ex to help pay for the cost. It's his child too, and he can pay child support without having visitation rights. You and your husband should then sit down with her and figure out a good childcare option for when she is working and what emergency plans will be if, say, she has to stay late for a staff meeting or travel overnight for a conference. I can 100% guarantee you her late mother would agree with this. Also, don't take to heart what she's saying. Postpartum depression can be very difficult to cope with, and I promise she still likes you and is just dealing with a lot right now. Alright, OP, there's a lot to unpack here, so what I'm seeing is that this person was in distress. They found out they were pregnant, the person that got them pregnant decided to leave, and they had to deal with that while also trying to figure out what to do with this baby. I think they kind of need to get over the fact that they don't want the baby to be with anybody but family. Yeah, that's what daycares are for, and they do a darn good job of helping people out during the day. The commenter here is completely right as well, because this person could be going through postpartum depression, but also they're just exhausted from dealing with a newborn, and they might be saying some things that they don't really mean. So take it with a grain of salt. OP did update the story, let's jump into that now. Alright, OP's update is titled, Update, Am I the Butthole for Refusing to Help My Stepdaughter with Her Baby? First of all, thank you for your support. I needed it more than I realized. Your replies, advices, and suggestions gave me a lot to think about. I was taking this situation independently and not really seeing the whole picture. I had some tough conversations with my husband and stepdaughter. I showed my husband the post and replies. He was upset I posted about this in social media, but I convinced him it's anonymous and we would not have any ramifications. The sad truth is, even with overwhelming numbers of not the buttholes, he refused to see the point. He accepts I have always been true about my boundaries, but he still needs me to step up and help out more, be more understanding. I realized the fact is, he sees his daughter as his baby girl, and me as the adult in the situation. So he needs me to act like an adult and support the child. I tried to make him realize she is not a child. She made her own decisions, and she needs to be an adult. He says I won't get how a parent would feel, and he needs to be there for her. I realized his long-term plan is to keep supporting her as long as he can and she wants it. To be frank, I sort of respect his stand. A father wanting to be there for his daughter and wanting to live for her is admirable. But that is not the life I envisioned. Loving grandmother that babysits occasionally? Sure. But raising Leah and her baby? Nope. Before we decided on anything extreme, we had a talk with Leah as well, to know what her plans are. We revisited the topic of child support, and this time, her dad was adamant to know why. Your replies made him concerned, I think. Well, apparently, the reason is Leah is still in love with him. She is scared pushing a court case and responsibility on him on a decision she made will scare him away. She is still holding on to hope that he will come back. We don't think she's being realistic, but have decided to table that talk for later since Sam is anyway ready to fund the baby's life. And child support can be demanded with back pay when she decides to follow up. We offered her multiple solutions, such as lesser work hours, career change, nanny, daycare. She did not accept any offer. She loves the school she works at and does not want to leave it. She claims reducing hours will impact her career trajectory, and since she wants to work, she might as well work full-time. She does not want to leave baby with strangers, nanny or daycare, and is refusing to hear it. She wants her baby to grow up with family feeling loved, and she can't be at peace unless she knows one of us is with the baby. Sam is refusing to cut down hours himself since he can't afford bills himself. Let me clarify, he had refinanced this house to pay for her college education, did not want her to have any loans. I had suggested we downsize from this 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom one we can both afford. He wanted to have space for his daughter. I understood that, but I couldn't afford to pay for it. We came to an understanding. I wouldn't pay for it and won't have any rights to the house either. That is his biggest payment. We split the rest of expenses proportionate to our income till Leah moved back in. She doesn't help financially. I contributed to normal day-to-day expenses, but all baby-related expenses are being met by Sam. If Sam stops working or reduces hours, he won't be able to do all these. I would take up being breadwinner, but we would have to downsize, and Leah would at least have to cover all baby-related expenses herself. Neither of them wants that. The conclusion of all discussions were the same. They needed me to stay home with baby. Sam wouldn't be putting anything to my savings or retirement funds, cause he won't have funds for that. He also thinks it isn't necessary since I can just go back to work when baby starts school. Long story short, I left, packed all my clothes and stuff, put everything I have in my car, and am now crashing at a friend's home. I don't have any rights to the house or own any furniture there, so leaving was easy. I have booked an appointment with my lawyer. I think this is the best decision I can take for myself. Both Sam and Leah called me a selfish butthole for leaving. I guess it will have to be this way. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, again a comment from Otherwise Wallaby 815. It says, "So sorry this is ending this way for you, but you are not being the selfish one here on any terms. Your husband should have put your name on the house regardless of your ability to pay for it. When you become a couple, everything becomes ours and not just his, even if he is the breadwinner. So either way, you are going to end up out and without anything in the end. To me, that says that the love he supposedly had for you was superficial, and he didn't think of you or your needs in anything. Couples are supposed to look out for each other's needs and take care of each other unto death. This means what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. Sadly, you probably made the best choice you could have made, and I'm sorry that your husband wasn't more understanding of your needs as he is his daughter's. Unfortunately, your husband is obviously easily manipulated by his daughter and refuses to see that she is an adult and should have the common sense to look after herself. This will not bode well for the daughter down the road, as she will have no abilities to be responsible for herself or her child once her father passes, and only God knows when that will be. Hopefully not for a very long time, but one never knows. I wish you all the best. OP, you definitely need to make the decision that's right for you because you clearly set out your boundaries earlier on in the relationship. You didn't want to be a parent, and they're asking you to be a parent and not understanding your side of that. OP, I too wish you the best of luck finding what you want out of life.